Welcome to today's current events and the world we are living in. Now, getting started today, I want to warn you that some of the contents are disturbing. This is not to produce fear, but its real intent is a call to action for every believer. One of the church's main weaknesses is ignorance of the rest of the world. That is the world that we're living in, the world that we're called to reach and touch for God. You know, in order to do that, we really need to know somewhat of what's going on in it. And even though we're in it, we're not of it. We're called to help and to touch those people that are in it. Dietrich Bonhoeffer said this: silence in the face of evil is evil itself. God will not hold us guiltless. Not to speak is to speak. Not to act is to act. And so that's why I'm really sharing these things, so that you and I aren't fooled along with the world. You know, the measure of evil that's being pushed on humanity today may only be rivaled by the days of Noah. I remind us of Genesis chapter 6, verse 5. It says, "And God saw the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart were only evil continually." Jesus himself warns us in Matthew 24, verses 37 through 39, that society would again be looking like the days of Noah right before his return and his second coming. And one of those such evils, I believe, is what we're going to talk about today, and that is transhumanism. Transhumanism, in short, is the merger of man with machines or artificial intelligence. It's about creating a post-human society. Humans and machines, artificial intelligence, and man becoming one. It's really a plan to turn you and I into genetically edited humans, a cyborg as it's known, a hybrid race as it's been called. Transhumanism is the fusion of human beings with technology in an attempt to alter human nature itself and create superhuman being and a so-called earthly paradise. Transhumanism is genetic modification and the merging of AI-made human beings to make a super race. With this, we're looking at the destruction of human beings as we know it today and the creation of a hybrid beings. In the transhumanistic view, the human body becomes a platform. It can be augmented in a myriad ways, physically, psychologically, and socially. It's about human augmentation. That just simply means the action or the process of making something greater than it is in its original form. And that's what they think they are going to do to humanity. Human augmentation has the potential to change the meaning of what it means to be human. And this is precisely what Klaus Schwab, the founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum, has stated the goal of the fourth industrial revolution is. One of the fourth industrial revolution goals is being introduced and pushed by the World Economic Forum globally, is this very thing: transhumanism, the merging of man with machines or artificial intelligence. Klaus Schwab said in the fourth industrial revolution is really about gene editing. He states it's not so much about changing what you do, but it will change who you are. Wow, that is dangerous. Transhumanism is about changing humans through gene editing. Another claim for the need of transhumanism that is now being focused on is the creating of super soldiers that will give militaries the edge in winning future wars. On December the 24th, 2021, Fox News reports U.S. intelligence announces China is using advanced technology like gene editing and brain control weapons to advance its military and notice and to crush dissent. But what we need to be aware of is that transhumanism will not and was never intended only to be restricted to the ranks of military. It is really a way to further separate classes of humans, with the rich and the powerful elite being augmented superhumans. Schwab's dream of a world in which humans are connected to the cloud, able to access internet through their own brains. That's what his dream is. This, of course, comes with great risk, as you can imagine. It means your brain would be accessible to people who may like to tinker with your thoughts, your emotions, and especially your beliefs and your behaviors. Be they the technocratic elite or random hackers would be available or possible to do that. This also means that one's physical body could temporarily be taken over by a remote operator. Imagine that. The proof now of content that the concept already exists is reviewed by Dr. Charles Morgan, professor in the Department of National Security at the University of New Haven. Using the internet and brain implants, thoughts can be transferred from one person to another. The sender can also directly influence the physical movements of the receiver. In his report, the concept of the human body as a platform is described, and how various parts of the human platform can be augmented, whether physically, psychologically, or socially. And notice this. As for ethics on this matter, he stresses, we cannot wait for ethics of human augmentation to be decided for us. Wow, just think about this. So instead of weighing the options about this, he says we can't wait to see if this is really dangerous or not. It goes on to say this, there may even be moral obligations to augment people, such as when it would promote well-being or protect a population from a novel threat. He goes on and says, interestingly, in this paper, it notes this, it could be argued that treatments involving novel vaccination processes and gene and cell therapies are examples of human augmentation already in the pipeline. Unfortunately, what that means for us, this appears to be a direct reference to the mRNA and the vector DNA COVID jabs already been given. If so, it's an open admission that they are a human augmentation strategy in progress. It's also worth noting this, that anything released to the public, at least concerning this topic of transhumanism, is a decade or more behind in its already current capabilities. So everything, even though everything I'm sharing with you today may seem like science fiction, it's already outdated news. Admittedly, these things seem so far out there, but I want you to hear for yourself the evil that's been planned for humanity out of their own mouths. Here's a video that I want you to take a look at.
And you see, the difference of this fourth industrial revolution is it doesn't change what you are doing. It changes you. If you take genetic editing, right. Just as an example, it's you who are changed. Yeah. And of course, this has a big impact on your identity.
Humans are now hackable animals. You know, the whole idea that humans have, you know, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. Free will, that's over.
We have, if I look at our stakeholders, we have business, of course, as a very important audience, and we have politics, we have continuous partnerships with many governments around the world. So, and of course, we have NGOs, we have trade unions, We have all those different parts.
Media, of course.
Media, of course, and very important experts and scientists and academia. Because if we are looking at the future, I think we should look at new solutions, and the new solutions will be very much driven by technological developments.
And you even have religious leaders, right?
Religious leaders.
Hi, YouTubers. I'm Rick Warren, author of The Purpose-Driven Life and pastor of Saddleback Church. I'm here at Davos with a lot of my friends.
A system that understands us better than we understand ourselves, can predict our feelings and decisions, can manipulate our feelings and decisions, and can ultimately make decisions for us. Now, in the past, many tyrants and governments wanted to do it, but nobody understood biology well enough, and nobody had enough computing power and data to hack millions of people. Neither the Gestapo nor the KGB could do it. But soon, at least some corporations and governments will be able to systematically hack all the people. We humans should get used to the idea that we are no longer mysterious souls. We are now hackable animals.
Again, maybe I will use an example. I think it's fascinating what's happening in this field right now. I mean, FDA approved the first electronic pill, if I can call it like that. So it is basically biological chip that it is in the tablet. And once you take the tablet and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet. So imagine the applications of that, compliance. The insurance companies to know that the medicines that patients should take, they do take them. It is fascinating what happens in this field.
So the real question is, what is transhumanism really about? Well, it's really part of what is known as the World Economic Forum's The Great Reset. It's about creating a post-human society. It's about God's creation, man, versus man's creation of human and artificial intelligence merging. It's man playing God. It's about the end of humanity as we know it and a creation of unredeemable beings. That is what Satan wants. So, what is all this really about anyway? Well, it's Satan's attempt, once again, to remove God's authority from the earth. It's both evil and spiritual, and something we need to understand. This is a very cynical plan, and behind it all is Satan himself. So what are we to do? What's our call to action? We talked about all of this to know this. Well, what we need to do is know the truth. We don't need to be ignorant, even concerning matters like this. I want to encourage you, do your own investigation. All I've said today in this video, in this news report, is clearly and easily proven. This is evil. And this evil has been planned against you and I. And this, even though it's done in the name of progress, is certainly not progress. And it is totally has an evil intent. So what are we to do? We're to pray, because prayer makes tremendous power available. We win battles through knowing the truth and praying. Then something else we need to do is we don't need to live in fear. We have an antidote for fear. It's called faith in God. Amen. Our faith in God will see us through. Then something else we need to do is resist. Don't comply. Don't only not be fooled, but do not comply to what's going on and resist those things. Romans 12:21 tells us, don't be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Then think about this. The most important thing that we can probably do is continue to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ, for truth has power to set the captives free. And we must be bold in our gospel witness, and we also must warn people about really what is going on in the earth today. Well, this is today's current events and the world we are living in. Thank you. I call you blessed.